Howdy boys, girls, cats, and squirrels, this is So Close to Toast and welcome to my YouTube channel. So a few days ago, the Call of Duty Black Ops 3 reveal trailer was dropped. Oh, is it hot? Everybody can't stop talking about it. Everybody can't figure out what's gonna be in campaign, what's gonna be in multiplayer, and then zombies. It's insane, the hype around this trailer and the amount of videos that people are putting out about it. I mean, somebody's putting out 20 videos an hour. It's insane, dude. So I took a little bit of time. I looked through frame by frame of this trailer, and I'm going to break it down for you guys in everything you know about the Call of Duty Black Ops 3 reveal trailer. This is stuff that you have seen in the trailer. We're just trying to piece it together, put the puzzle in its place, and figure out the mystery behind Black Ops 3. Let's get it on. You're going to watch me slowly eat this applesauce as we get to the core of this trailer. All right, Toasters, so like I said, we're going to be going through this trailer. It's everything that you've seen with your own eyes. It's not leaked speculations, things you heard from an event that somebody said, oh, this could be true, and it ended up being a lie. So it's nothing like that. This is everything that you've seen in the trailer, and we're just breaking it down. I got an outline for you. Like I said, frame by frame, I went through this and tried to evaluate it, so I'll try and go through it as easily understandable as possible. I'm going to be going through gameplay, character movements, weapons, all kinds of good stuff, things that people haven't talked about. So we are CSI right now. Let's get into this with what fades in with the trailer. The song choice, it is Painted Black by the Rolling Stones. So classic rock. Treyarch is keeping that seamless kind of theme with the Black Ops franchise. They had AC/DC Back in Black with Black Ops 2 trailers. They had Symphony for the Devil by the Rolling Stones in the Black Ops 1 trailer. So they're keeping that theme. And this time you just get that dull, dark, depressing fight to survive mood and tone from that song and this visuals and all this stuff. So yes, perfect choice. Up next, the most important part of a Call of Duty game is its gameplay. And for me personally, a lot of people were kind of tongue-tied with, is this gameplay or not? For me, I think if it doesn't have a HUD or something that I'm going to be looking at while playing the game, I have to rule that out as it not being official gameplay. Some people are saying, oh yeah, this is something that happens in multiplayer. This is something that happens in campaign. And I'm sure it is. But for me, it just seems like it probably could be a PC render or a console render of some sort. So I have to rule out that it's not official gameplay. Also, a lot of people complain that the reveal trailer didn't reveal that much of the storyline. If you guys saw the Embers tease, they definitely hinted at a lot of like human versus robots and humans becoming part robot and things like that. So if you see the Embers tease, it will give you a little bit better insight into what this game's going to be about. It tells us about technology. Is it future? Third world countries don't have this technology. The whole rich thrive and the poor have to survive. And then obviously the military is going to abuse its power and use this technology to the max a sack, and that maybe the technology will push back. Another thing that a lot of people were excited about was the gore in this trailer. There was a lot of emphasis. I'll show some screenshots and things like that of the trailer showing all the crazy gore moments. It's just insane that they emphasize it so much because it hasn't been in the multiplayer, really. Not since World at War from 2008. And so this is a trademark for Treyarch, and I hope that they bring this gore to the multiplayer and don't just leave it in the campaign like the other Call of Duties have. That would be really exciting. I mean, this is a mature audience type of game, even though there's a lot of kids that do play it. They have to know that this game is mature, and it'd be nice if they got back to their roots a little bit and showed limbs flying off and things like that. That'd be so sick. All right, next up that a lot of people haven't been dipping too much into as far as them explaining or their impressions is the weapons that were shown throughout the trailer. I mean, there was a lot. I was surprised how many weapons they were teasing, and it makes me excited because that just goes to show that there's going to be probably a lot of weapons in this game, whether it's killstreak weapons or just regular weapons in your arsenal or things that could be even mounted along the map. So I'm going to go through the trailer a little bit here and just kind of break it down and see what we can take from the weapons that are in this trailer. Maybe they relate to weapons that we played in past Call of Duties, and maybe they're weapons that are just completely made up or ones that are actually on the market today. There's a few weapons in the beginning, but you can't really see much. Here we go. This is a great two-shot of There's two soldiers. One looks like he's half a robot there in the back. But this guy in the foreground, it looks like he's holding some kind of LMG. You see LMGs throughout this trailer, more so towards the end. And this one just reminded me so much of the MK48. It looks pretty sick. And also, it looks like he's got like a flashbang or something on his chest. Something cool like there. And then also the smartphone, which will probably be used for kill streaks and calling in and checking the email and whatnot. Another thing that I noticed on the truck was a mounted like missile rocket launcher thing, and hopefully that's something that you could use within the maps. And if you know about like the whole wall running and thrust boosting, this could come in extreme handy, because there's some maps where it looked like you were running through the middle of the map, and hopefully you can just blow them away with this missile, and it'll make people a little bit more cautious about doing the wall running, because they know that a lot of people are going to be pointing their weapons at them. There's another LMG looking type of gun. That guy's got a pretty kick-ass backpack. Right here is a really cool shot of a guy wielding a knife. It almost kind of reminds me of the Bowie knife from Black Ops 1 Zombies. That was always a kick-ass knife, and this kind of looks like an upgraded version of that. There's also a knife that I noticed later on in the trailer being held by an Assassin's Creed looking character, and that would be cool. That's probably a specific class or something where you can just run around with a knife. So that's only. Right here is a pretty kick-ass shot of what not only is some weapons, but characters. You get to see what characters you could possibly be playing in the game. You got this guy in the foreground. He's probably the main character. I believe that's Alex Mason. And then you got the female character. She looks like a total badass. A mech-looking guy. And then a guy in the far background that you can't really see too much of. This guy in the front really looks like he's holding a honey badger styled weapon, and probably an assault rifle of some sort. It looks sick just based on that stock. That's kind of how I was like, oh, okay. The girl looks like she's holding some kind of SMG of some sorts, and then obviously the good old stinger on her back. It wouldn't be a Call of Duty without a stinger. All right, here's another amazing shot that got people hyped up. This is where the character and his gun plunged into the water and was able to swim and shoot somebody underwater and then jump up out of the water into the walkway. And it was just a great shot. And this looks like some kind of assault rifle. And then he's got just what looks like to be a red dot sight. All right, here's another shot where a guy seems to be transforming his arm into a death machine, and I'm sure that's a kill streak of some sort, and that has some relation to the specialist classes that were introduced in this game. But really cool feature. You can definitely rip with that. This guy sliding into those DMs. This guy looks to be holding some sort of it was a gun back in Ghost, and I called it the water gun. A lot of people call it the water gun, where it had that cylinder magazine. I can't think of what the actual name is right now. The gun was a submachine gun. It was awesome. That kind of looks like this, but it also looks like the RAS-12 shotgun. So who knows? It could be a submachine gun. It could also be a shotgun. I don't know about, based on that, on the muzzle though, that would be a shotgun. But it's definitely a really sweet looking gun, and a pretty kick-ass shot with the guy sliding. Right here, it looks like a drone or some kind of bot character is holding an AK-12 of some sorts, maybe an upgraded version of the AK-12. But yeah, that definitely looks like an AK. And you'll see more AKs in this trailer. They're kind of in this a lot. This gun looks insane. You're just shooting like this missile really fast. And I'm sure this is another part of that kill streak with a specific specialist class, but this is an amazing weapon. This shot with the pistol and the laser, I don't know if that's an actual laser that does damage and you can actually shoot a laser through somebody. I don't think it is. They definitely made it seem like it was that. It's probably just a laser sight, but the way that it just sounded like some kind of beam that could just pierce through a body. I don't know, but that just doesn't look to be the case. And obviously this pistol looks like any kind of pistol in Call of Duty. Flares confirmed! This gun definitely looks to be of an AK with a silencer on it, or that shotgun that it was like a SAG, something like that. Let me know in the comments what it's actually, how you pronounce it. All right, here's another pistol that looks to have an attachment of a flashlight or a laser sight. One of the two. Boom! Kicks right open the door, starts wall running, popping some people while he's doing it. It's pretty sick. This is a really awesome shot, and it seems to be a pump shotgun, which goes over pretty well with the Call of Duty community. People always love ripping with the pump shotguns. This kind of reminds me of the R870 from Black Ops 2. just a little bit more upgraded, obviously, and it sounds pretty different. So it could be something along those lines. It looks sick, so I'm sure a lot of people would be using that and making little kids mad. Right here, a sniper rifle. At first I thought it was semi-auto, but I kept rewatching this like second clip, and it kind of sounds like a bolt action. So it's some kind of bolt action sniper rifle that I'm sure a lot of people are going to be trick shotting with. I looked for a while to figure out what this woman's gun was, and my conclusion, because I didn't want to sound too dumb, is that it's an SMG. I noticed that the magazine is behind the trigger, and that the stock is a little bit fatter, and that she's running with it. And that's typically what you do with SMGs. So I'm sure it's some kind of SMG. I didn't want to take too much of a wild guess because it does resemble some weapons in other games. I just didn't know what to call it. So I'll just leave it to you guys to be the experts on that. This person jumps up and pulls out this weapon that is definitely some kind of assault rifle. It almost resembles the Type 25, has that kind of shape. So it could be something along those lines. Boom, another amazing shot with a pistol, which I think this is also related to the specialist classes, and it will be only specific to a certain class, kind of like Advanced Warfare had with their pistol class. This is a one-shot pistol, it seems, so that is really awesome that they have some high caliber magnum of some sorts. And once again, another specialist class exclusive. This looks like something where this guy goes straight Mad Max and pulls out these stakes and just slams them down on enemies, and maybe it blows up the vicinity around him or just stuns the enemies, who knows, but it definitely looks like it's going to be a cool integration into the game. Another extreme highlight is the guy exploding from somebody shooting a bow at it. It reminds me of the Crisis 3 bow, a lot of people were saying, as well as a recurve bow. I'm sure it's got some kick-ass name. But this is definitely a big highlight in the trailer and something that a lot of people were excited about. It's nice. We moved from crossbow and now we have a recurve bow, which is so sick. Here's another guy holding another pistol. It kind of looks like the pistol that he was pointing at some kind of enemy earlier on in this trailer. And then the person in the background there looks to be holding some submachine gun, but it also kind of looks like a 6.12 shotgun. I'll put up a little image so you guys be the judge. A lot of people haven't been analyzing this end title screen or what will be on the display box for the game, but it shows a character that's wearing some kind of helmet. Maybe that helmet will be utilized for different displays, things like that if you use it. He's also holding dual wield, so you're getting dual wield in this game. And they look to be B23Rs. Those were burst pistols in Black Ops 2. They're really powerful, and that would be really awesome to see them come back and make a return in Black Ops 3. Moving on to what probably is the second most important part of Call of Duty is the kill streaks. They are advancing. They're integrating so many new and different ways to kill enemies and players. It's really exciting. And something that I noticed almost as a pattern in this trailer was the VTOL warships. There was a lot of VTOL warships. I'm sure they'll be called something different, but maybe that will be a kill streak that you use amongst the game and multiplayer. A lot of people were pointing out the roly-poly droid, which seems to be the new version of dogs. Something drops them down and they have aimbot on the enemies and just attack them, which kind of reminds me of that Transformer that rolls and just flies up and just blows up everything. And also, people were saying it is reference to the Warframe roller. Another cool kill streak that seems to be in the game is somebody just held out their hand and just shot out a bunch of Hunger Game bees. And those bots just went up and attacked somebody and just engulfed them in flames. The guy at 114 took over a drone, which seemed to be kind of a hybrid between an AGR and a Dragonfire. So you can control it. It shoots out missiles and probably has machine gun fire as well in it. And then also, like we mentioned throughout all the weapons, they have the specialist kill streaks, which are only dedicated to certain people's classes. It seems like so somebody can turn their arm into a death machine. Somebody has the giant stakes that they can slam down. You also have that giant gun that shoots out a missile. Up next are the reason why the trailer has as many dislikes as it does, and that is based on the movements. A lot of people don't like exo ability. They said it just wasn't the best thing about Advanced Warfare. For me personally, I played more Ghost than Advanced Warfare, and I'm not saying Advanced Warfare is a bad game. I really enjoyed it, but exo abilities didn't make the game any better. Treyarch took a little of that and toned it down, I believe. They made it into thrust boosting, so you have a time limit on how long you can wall run, how long you can boost. So that's a good idea, I think, and that's something that Destiny had, and that I heard Destiny had some influence into this game as well. Moving on, this is something that nobody seems to be talking about, and it can make and break a game, and that is the maps. And obviously you don't know how the maps are going to play as of right now through this trailer, but you can see what the maps are going to be like through all the different locations that are shown amongst this trailer. You see what seems to be a snow map, you see a hot climate or a rainforest, underwater, hey, hashtag Atlantis DLC. Please, let's make that happen. Let's make that happen. There was also a map that seemed to show a lot of like slums and close quarters, and that kind of reminded me of Favela from Modern Warfare 2, so shout out to Modern Warfare 2. Yeah! Obviously, there's going to be urban maps, and I saw one that had crates, so we could have another cargo. Also, something that a lot of people aren't emphasizing on, they're just calling like a dead person or whatever. I looked a little bit closer, and this dead person that looks like they're kind of rotting and that they're in some dark subway alley of some sorts. It kind of looked like Frank Wood, who was like a mentor of Alex Mason. So that probably connects somewhere with the campaign, and I just thought I'd throw that out there and see if anybody thinks the same. Last but not least, one of the biggest parts of the trailer was at the very end when they sneak peeked zombies. Everybody just flourished about that and were really excited. And something that I noticed about the zombie particularly is that he's wearing some kind of Nazi uniform. So maybe they're going back to Nazi zombies. I heard that maybe Richtofen storyline from Buried carries over to Black Ops 3. So there's going to be some kind of crazy storyline that they wrap in here that we're going to have to solve. And I'm excited to see where they go with it this time. It's also good to mention the platforms that this game is going to be on: Xbox One, PlayStation 4, and PC. Sorry, everybody that has old gens. Looks like you're going to have to upgrade. As far as Wii U people, I'm so sorry. And that the release date is November 6, 2015, so it's going to be an exciting year for video games. Call of Duty's on the horizon. Let me know in the comments below if this trailer piqued your interest. Hopefully, Toasters, you enjoyed this kind of video. I'm going to be doing more videos in the future based on Black Ops 3. We got campaign, multiplayer, and zombies coming out. We also got another video with everything that you don't know about the reveal trailer. So stay tuned for that. Also, check out some of my past videos. I did an actual reaction to the trailer, and then I made a parody of everyone's reaction. Oh my goodness, was this Titanfall Halo? On the trailer, so definitely check out those videos as well. Subscribe. I'll see you guys next time. Peace out. Shakem N Bakem.